My name is Lucy Lau Bigham, and I'm a textile surface designer by profession. I was born in Nairobi. We had a small house, 2 bedrooms, 6 children, but we never really considered ourselves poor. By the time I was finishing my design course in Nairobi University, I wanted to work with the community, but I never expected to work in the rural. I worked with a non-profit organization in the coast region of Kenya. It's from there that I was really humbled to want to do something that impacts the community. That's how Marafiki Arts was born. I never thought I'd know anything about worms. But these little creatures are actually very valuable to us because now we are feeding them to make silk, and they're actually going to impact our livelihoods. When I came out of school, I was really a stiletto girl. I remember my first job in Mombasa. We had to cross the ocean to go to this very remote group, and I was wearing my stilettos, and all the field staff were looking at me like, from Nairobi, graduate, and let's see how she's going to maneuver this with her stilettos to get into the boat. So there were learning lessons there, but interacting with the community is what has really shaped my life the way I am now. Right now we're at WCDO, the center. This is actually like our business incubation center. We've rented the space. We have the women come here, and this is where we exchange now the skill, then they can go do it at home. When we started Marafiki, obviously we never thought it would be what it is today. We started it as a program where we were just exchanging ideas, expertise, skills, you know, and making art.
My name's Christina Roberts, and I'm president of Marafiki Arts. And I work at the Fabric Workshop and Museum, and I met Lucy through the apprentice training program. She was an apprentice, and we were about the same age, and we kind of bonded.
I like that the Fabric Workshop, the way it's designed, we had apprentices, artists that would come, artists from different mediums, that would come and express their ideas on printed fabric, screen-printed fabric. So that was a really interesting thing, but the setup was something that I could actually implement in Kenya.
We started talking about starting something in Kenya. We really wanted to start a project to help people in the community. So we came on a trip to Kenya together in 2004.
We traveled around the country, and we ended up in Makueni. The road to Makueni is beautiful. We found an organized community. We found a place that they could actually do some activity. And so we landed here and decided to start the program.
My name is Leonard Moyandambuki. I work for Water Community Development Organization in Makueni. Lucy came into my life, I can't remember the year very well right now, but at one time Lucy came with her friends, Cynthia and Christina, and they were looking for a program that deals with textile.
We met Leonard on our research trip, and he's the community liaison of Wote. And he's a teacher and studied community activism. So we were able to organize a group of people to come and participate in the workshops.
We might want to double this again so that the loop is extra strong.
I'm Cynthia Porter,
I worked at the fabric workshop with Christina Roberts. When Christina and I were talking, she said that they were interested in doing a project here in Kenya to work with the women, and that they had discovered this particular area where the farmers grew cotton and where they also had a ginnery, and that they were interested in actually the process of spinning and weaving, and they were interested in having somebody that had those skills. And I said, voila, I have those skills. So that's how it started, essentially.
We decided to teach hand spinning of cotton with the cotton that's grown here. Cynthia studied textiles in England, and she knew how to spin with the drop spindle.
They started knitting their own sweaters and bags and all sorts of things, which I like, because then whatever skill we transfer, we also want them to utilize it for themselves.
I just call myself Emma, but the full names are Immaculate. I just came with the women. They were used to coming here to the workshop, so I followed them to see what they were doing. Then I just found it, then I started there, and I love it.
I think the women want to provide for their families. I think that's basic and elementary, and I think that's what all the women want to do here, and to have a better quality of life.
I love going out visiting the women because they're amazing. You give them one thing, they're listening, and they're like, okay, we're going to do it this way. And next time you come, they actually even find solutions. And they're dynamic. Things have not just been maintaining the status quo. They keep changing, and they change according to their needs.
We really stuck with the cotton because we felt like we could dye the cotton, we could knit with it, we could market it and sell it as yarn to weavers and knitters.
We had put in so much effort in giving this community the skills, and they were producing, and we were purchasing all this cotton yarn, but it's not sustainable. They have done work, you paid, but you're not selling it.
I think we maybe naively thought that, we could really make a go of it and really sell the yarn, and it would take off, and, it would sort of, money would come back into the community.
But what we were making wasn't really sellable. It wasn't a product that you could really put out there. For Kenyans, nobody's going to buy the hand-spun yarn as it is. The women never really said that we want money, but you understand their needs. They're not going to spend their time here doing something if it's not going to feed them.
I can see Lucy struggling sometimes, not making any money out of it, not making anything out of it.
In the beginning, it was fine. There was no timeline. It was like, okay, it's a dream, we're going, we're going to get there whenever we're getting there. But the minute now you seem to look like, oh, these lives depend on me. It's like, oh, I have to deliver. Then there's pressure to want to deliver and to make this thing happen.
I said, can you do this in an hour?
Yeah.
They said, yes.
Your timing?
Not actually. Lucy rarely expresses disappointment. That's not really Lucy's personality. She's always endlessly positive and encouraging and hopeful.
Na Lucy taoyo mwamwani yebanga inde monene atumadomona. Na Lucy taoyo mwamwani yebanga inde monene atumatuchona. Gainde monene atumatuchona.
I never really earned a lot of money in my life. Never. But I've had great experiences. I mean, I've traveled the world over, and when I was working with communities in the Coast Province, I mean, there were some people who really had nothing. Like, they lived by the sea, and they had a small piece of, I would say a small piece of fish, maybe about 4 of these, and they would ask you to share with, invite you to share with them. And they had told me I couldn't say no, and I had to eat it, take a little bite, and it was like you would have throw up right there. But just the fact that they would offer, with a smile, they'd offer you what the little they had was very humbling. I actually enjoy driving in the rural better than in Nairobi, because the rural is more predictable. So I know that I'm going to be going through rough hills. I know I'm going to be going through a river that's crazy. And once you figure out how to maneuver that, it's so much easier. This thing that goes to the terminal.
Get to a shop, show them that you want this replaced.
My name's Herman Bigham. I'm the lucky guy who married Lucy. We talked about extending what Rafiki Arts was doing and setting it up as a business that could have a great impact in that community.
We did try to do some marketing, but we never really thought about how Marafiki can be self-sustained. But Marafiki is dependent on funding, donor funding. So somebody buying the product is the best donor or funder that would fund something like this.
Lucy came with a different idea. I want to train them. I want to empower them. I want them to make money out of their work. Work for money.
So that's how we decided, okay, let's do business, and we set up Tosheka.
My name is Nyokabi Achola. I am the Associate Director for Tosheka Textiles Limited. Tosheka is a social entrepreneurial company in Makueni that works with women to produce fabric. So we do fiber to fashion.
We were really targeting a household to see a family actually feeding well, living a better life than they do now from the proceeds of the business.
Lucy has employed many of the women in different cluster groups who participated every summer in our workshops, but now they're employed with Tosheka, so that's a good thing.
The first thing I enjoy, I have some children in secondary school. I pay for their school fees, then for the family needs.
My name is Teresa Njue Rogoro, and I'm the production coordinator for Tosheka Textiles. Initially, when I came into Tosheka, honestly, I didn't see it. I was just there for curiosity. But over the last 3 or 4 years, we have done things I've never thought we would do.
The challenging part of the process is teaching the women to perfection, making sure that they do what is our quality and do what is right for Tosheka.
So now we're going to Chamusoi, one of our really dynamic and old groups. We're going to meet Priscilla, who is the chair lady.
Priscilla, maisha yenye baraka. Twamwombea Priscilla, maisha yenye baraka. Maisha yenye baraka. Twamwombea baraka, 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 maisha yenye baraka.
My name is Priscilla Wansamol from Chamusoi. My group is called Finawa Chamusoi.
During training, most people gave up because of that issue of you have to perfect here, you have to perfect here. So if you don't give up in time, you can do it and you can learn it. You need to be very patient and listen to the instructions.
I'm not patient, and that's why I don't like repeating myself. My fellow staff members are like, she's too hard, we need to talk to somebody, she can calm down. But I think once I've said it, why should I repeat it? You're an adult.
Sometimes you feel like crying, that's what you're saying. And others even talk bad about it. But the work goes on, that's what Priscilla says.
When Lucy is meeting the women, they are all happy, and because she's the donor. I'm seen like the bad guy, but it's my job, I have to take it. I think I'm building a future for them, because if we don't create a product that has sustainability, 2-3 years, they'll be back to where they are. What impact have we made? So I don't mind. And for those who understand me, they actually become very good friends.
The women in Makueni are very, very, I don't know what word to use. They're very, I don't know whether acceptive is an English word. They're always ready to do something new. They take challenges very positively. Anything we introduce, they say they can do it, even if they've not seen it.
For the women that we work with, I want to say that their expectation is really they're there to make money. They're there to make money. I believe that they like the idea, or they've been motivated when they get paid, because they also have control of their own lives, that they don't have to always beg from their husbands, you know, like today I want this. They're small things, and you can manage your children, because children always look up to their mothers, you know, even if they just want candy. It can be as simple as that, and mommy can provide. That is something that really makes them happy.
Good appetite.
To give us work continuously, so that we should not stay
Now they are
idle.
saying they are idle. You found them idle because they have no order. From December, there is no
up to
order.
now.
There is famine.
It's famine.
They need a lot of work. Like that again. I like that. They need a lot of work.
I remember thinking that cotton is a beautiful fiber, but it doesn't have much resale value, or it's essentially kind of a peasant fiber. And I was thinking that if we could work with something like silk, that would really add value to the spinning and the weaving.
So once we go down now, we can see how the fiber and the seeds are getting separated from one another.
My name's Peter Kingo. I'm the manager of the Makueni Engineers Limited. Cotton used to do very well here. Only that maybe other ventures have proved to be more profitable, or labor has proved to be minimal, so people have shifted to other goals.
cotton is not working for us. We're depending on the government, we're depending on the ginnery, the ministry is not bringing seeds on time. So I said, forget the cotton, now we're going to be doing silk.
I smiled when she said it and asked, okay, honey, what do you know about silk?
I said nothing, but we're going to find out.
Lucy started by making handbags from waste paper. My name is Joseph Mulu. I'm a business person here in Makueni. I've seen Lucy work with our community. Now I understand there's a new project about getting wool out of some insects. I don't want to pretend that I know much about the project because I'm not a member, but it's a beautiful project. I can see my people benefiting.
I was never a good student in biology, but the pupa is a little brown thing and it shakes its head like this. And when we were children, we'd be playing with it and we say, wakaguku, wakaguku, where is so-and-so? I mean a direction where we've thrown the ball or something, and then wakaguku would go poop. And they say, oh, that's where we need to go find whatever. And then we'd run that direction. Then we put the wakaguku again and it would shake its head, wakaguku, wakaguku, where is so-and-so? And then it would show us that wherever the direction it stops, the head, that's where we would go.
We were introducing a new species of insect from Ethiopia. So you jump through a lot of hoops, like 3 years of hoops with the scientific organizations to make sure that that insect you introduce is not going to harm the environment.
At first, I thought Lucy and Herman are way out of their heads because I was wondering how this will work. I'd never seen a silkworm before. Had not engaged in any way with silk. Me being a psychologist by profession, it was very new to me. And by the time we were introducing it, Lucy and Herman were not in the country. So I had to go for all the meetings with the scientists, and it was really difficult.
She called me, she was crying. She said, oh God, I made a fool of myself. They were all laughing. I said, well, next time you go there, ask them what's a mordant and how does it react with X. They don't know anything about textiles.
To tell you the truth, I didn't think the worms were a good idea. Even with the research, I thought people in Kenya were not readily acceptable to do the silk because it involves a lot of holding worms, and they find worms yucky, insects in general.
The first day, nobody would touch them. They'd be like, oh. But they're very friendly, and after a while, you become very attached to them. They're children, but they don't demand so much. They're wonderful little creatures.
My name is Dorcas Musyoka. I train the trainees about the worms. The people that I train, they like the worms very much. They like touching the worms, and when they are working with the worms, they just feel nice. For the first time, they fear, but as the time goes, they don't fear.
I think the fun bit of it is how you see an egg and then it becomes a tiny weeny worm, then it becomes a little bigger, then all of a sudden it just blows up. Poof! It's a big worm. I think that's the magic. That's it. Yeah. Do you have anything else? 1 minute. 1 minute. Gerard.
Working with Lucy is exciting, and I would think about how she preps us and how she has built our confidence. Because initially when we started, we'd ask her for every little thing, call so and so for us before we meet that person. And the kind of prep talk she'll give you, nowadays we joke about it, but then you would find tears in your eyes. You'll be like, go and knock in that door, enter. I'm not calling anyone for you. You have your own mind, go do it.
To turn around the silk is, I would say, about a month for the women in terms of them generating their income, and Photosheka in terms of us getting our fiber. That's so much better than an annual cotton crop. Okay, so here we are at the grainage now. What this place is going to do is just make seed worms, like little worms that we distribute to the women. These are what we call the rearing units, and we build them like this to be able to rear the worms. They go through 5 stages. So you have the egg, then the worm comes out, that's the first stage. And after that, they're gonna molt, a stage where they stop eating, feeding, nothing. They look like they're dead, they're asleep. And then they shed the skin, then they move to the next stage. So we want to give them to the women at the second stage.
Right.
When they get to their 5th stage, they are as big as your finger. And they're put in little papers, about 5 of them, and they'll be cocooning. When they start cocooning, you'll hear in the paper them
So they're
turning
actually
around.
spinning their silk.
Exactly.
And the silk is spun around their body?
Exactly. And then the worm will just kind of spin itself to make the cocoon, which becomes the fiber. After 7 days, you will harvest the silk, which we have to clean it. And then we take the spun yarn and weave the cloth. From a kilo of silk, we can get at least 8 meters of fabric. If you can see here, there's a little hole. The butterfly will come out of here. And out of the butterfly comes the egg.
Yes.
And after the egg comes the worm again.
Comes the worm. So
the cycle continues.
Yeah.
In 2015, Lucy and Ruguro and Nyokawe were doing a lot of work with the silkworms, and they had arrived, and I think it was like the end of the first cycle.
We had like 20,000 worms in our initial grainage, and when this one was being introduced in Kenya, we were being told it is a very hardy worm, so we were not expecting any diseases. So they were all nice, just about to spin. They were like 2 days to spin, and that would have been our first spinning experience, but we lost our first batch.
They died, yeah, that really affected me personally. Even the director, you know, he was like even blaming these guys. He was supposed to do X, you didn't do Y. But we didn't know what the cause was.
A farmer who's near where we had our plantation for the castor sprayed his mangoes. And unfortunately, due to how the wind is blowing, the pesticide went into our castor, which nobody knew. So when the castor was cut and given to the worms to feed, they started changing color and dying. Everything came to a standstill because the worms have died. And everybody was sick and sad, and we were like, this is too much. You can't do a trial for over 3 years, and when you do your first batch, it's over and done with. I was sick for days. Felt like somebody died.
My sister saying, Lucy, forget it. Why don't you just look for a job or sell your fabric or just print? Forget the women and all, just print. That's what you know. Stop making silk and all that. You can't make everybody, you know, Kenya better.
It was really sad. But at the same time, I mean, it's trial and error. We're trying something new and exciting, and hopefully something that'll be great for Kenya. But I think without like those kind of trials, like you don't learn.
Eventually we just picked ourselves up, had another batch, started all over again.
I think my brothers and sisters don't think I'm very practical. They think that I'm very talented. But usually they're like, Lucy, how do you really survive? It's not like you have a big pay, and when they come, they see all these big things happening. But now they're actually getting into what we're doing because it's more tangible. And then they see all that, they say, wow, you did all that? So now we're going to Dhangu to see Joyce and Anna. Dhangu is one of our old groups, and we have a backup grainage there. That's the temperature now. and the humidity.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're recording?
Yes.
And taking them to Winnie every day?
Yes.
Have you noticed anything?
They are not weak, no mortality, that's dying.
Yeah.
They don't get sick,
Yeah.
they are okay.
Na
so kuna ile unyevu ile ndio huwa inaleta ndio inatulazimu tuweke hiyo line, lakini hakuna
ile moisture, ile moisture sasa ndio inatufanya tuweke line.
Kwa hivyo sasa hakuna moisture.
Sababu iko dry.
Hakuna kuko dry.
Yeah. So now you're cutting this and then you're sending them to Kiatine, the pupa only.
The pupa only.
And how are you sending it?
With motorbike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not delaying?
We don't delay because when we delay, they will be black when they bake them.
And they'll be rotten?
Yeah.
But I found some that were rotten there.
Saa zingine tunatumana na tunachelewesha kupelekewa. So shida inakuanga hivyo. Haiwezi maliza siku 3 hapa.
Also sometimes mnatumana wapi kwa Rogoro?
Yeah.
And then she delays.
Yeah.
And then they don't get taken.
Yeah.
So now it would make more sense. We can't blame Rogoro so much.
Yeah.
We'll have a meeting, all of us, so that we all agree what the issues are. And when we're having a meeting, list down all the issues. Other than your pay, work issues.
She works very well with the women. She has a thing with the women. She communicates to them very well. She understands them, as opposed to myself. She really understands and they communicate well.
There's a pressure to do all this. Half the times I get up maybe, I don't sleep till maybe 1 and I get up maybe at 5. These days promptly 5:13. Maybe I should play that number. 5:13, I'm awake and I'm immediately there, you know, when I just open my eyes, I'm thinking, okay, so Felista talked about they needed X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. How do we make that happen? The highest income earning part right now is still the weaving, the produced fabrics.
We received 3 looms this year. They're different from our previous looms. They can make heavier materials like carpets. Working on them is a bit different, so we are having Cynthia here for our workshop to teach us how to work on the new looms.
So there's a need for fabric, but then community-produced fabrics may be challenging. Our product ends up being expensive and is targeted at a very small market that appreciates how the fabric is made and is willing to pay a little premium for that.
Here it's changed from here to here dramatically.
A lot of designers want a unique fabric that they have designed themselves. Secondly, they want a place where if they make something, because they're still small entrepreneurs or businesses, they want that if they get an order, they can come back and get that repeated fabric. Thanks. So can we have the women make more of this?
There are other people who are producing fabric out there, but I think we have an edge because Lucy is a designer and she comes up with very great designs. Also, we are the only ones producing airy silkworm in the country.
Right now, our challenge is we show people this. They're like, Lucy, how many meters can you produce?
Right.
And when can I get it?
Yeah.
And so the lead times become a problem because
Yeah.
it's a hand spun. We have only 3 looms. We can't really grow without investors. We can't really grow. We can grow at the pace that we've been growing. That's frustrating. That's really frustrating. We need equipment.
Right.
Yeah. Like $100,000 and maybe $200,000
Oh, right. So you've got that already, or you're working on that?
No, we're working on that.
Okay,
right. Yeah.
Next in the den is a business idea from Wote that takes green to the fashion extreme.
Starting in 2011, we purposely decided to create an eco-friendly and ethical textile line. And this textile line would create sustainable incomes for communities that we partner with in making the textiles. We are seeking 8 million shillings in exchange of 7% equity. We won the Lion's Den. I mean, we got investors, we agreed, but then after that, you have to go through some due diligence process. You have to go through some, now you have to finally agree.
We are the people who got the most money from the Lion's Den. But everything has, you have to read in between the lines.
For me, I thought we were agreeing, but they were kind of dropping off. So towards the end, they never finished their due diligence process, and we were pushing them, and then I said, you know, I don't even like what they're proposing.
There was so much we would lose just to gain 8 million shillings. And Lucy decided maybe we should just think this over.
So when they didn't follow through, I was like, in fact, what they're asking for is too much.
For them, it's just a business. For us, it's a lifestyle. We don't want somebody messing up your lifestyle or messing up your future.
So really we've survived from family and friends, and most recently what really put us up was the Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. It's a competition and they funded us, and that has really taken us off, so that now many people are being attracted to put in funding.
The way the project has been fashioned is for the women to work from home, not the women to depend on Tosheka Textiles fully to earn an income. It's for the women to have an extra income on top of what they do on their daily duties. Our target to impact the women is 3,000 households.
So basically we've stayed on course with what we wanted, and now we've added another 400 women for just producing the Eri silk. Okay, it's good. So now we're going to Ngutwa. This is a new group. So Ruth is taking us there. It's up the hill, it's beautiful, it's surrounded by mountains. And I can't wait to see them because I haven't seen them. And their worms are doing spinning. This is their first cycle.
My name is Ruth Donge Musioka. I'm a TOT, that means a trainer of trainees. The name of this group is Kanini Kaseo Group. It has 5 members. I've been training them on how to rear hairy silkworm, and I can see they have done excellence as I compare with the other groups. For the first time, they have tried a lot.
I can't explain what the women have done for us. They are very, very consistent, and they really, I don't even know which word to put there. They're always there for us. When we call them, they're there. When we call a meeting, they come. When you give an order, they do.
It has changed my life to the better, because I feel I can even weave for myself and for my own cloth. I get something that I can do even at home. I can just make it for myself.
Hey! I am extremely pleased with how fast the silk is growing, and every day is a learning curve.
When I first met Lucy and when she sold Tosheka idea, you can tell how much passion someone has, and it has been her dream, her long life dream. So when she took me on board, I think she put a lot of trust in me. I've never done textiles, so someone to do that on you, you don't want to let them down.
Lucy, is it called perseverance? She has that. Shock absorbers, she has.
When you look back, with everything we have done, when you're doing it, it's like a big boulder that you're pushing up and it's coming back at you. But, you know, when you look back, you actually see a lot of achievement.
She has a vision and a dream, and, you know, she's going to keep going after that.
Silk happened because Lucy made it happen.
Lucy is just like an angel to us. Sometimes people just think, where is this angel from? Because she's teaching us things that we never imagined can happen in Makueni, and has never happened before.
This is a good time to do the training. Like next week, you come, you learn how to do the spooling. In fact, there's work, because we want a lot of material for that one. The ultimate goal is, of course, that we can make the maximum profit that we can, and we can make the maximum impact as we can in the community. That would be the dream, a dream that I may never live to see. You know, it's a vision.